Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I do apologize for being tardy, but I was looking rough and I had to put some product in this hair. I had to put a little eyeliner on, fix up my eyebrows a little bit, give y'all a little lip gloss. Had to give y'all a little something because I was looking kind of crazy. So I do apologize for being late. However, we are going to get into Ask Alison, which is my weekly live Q&A live stream where I answer the burning questions you have around dating and relationships. So how does it all work? If you are new to my page, you may not be aware, so let me explain. Come on, Instagram, be my friend. Instagram is acting weird. Let me close it. So how it works is in my stories, every Tuesday evening-ish, I post the same exact story, and it looks like it expired. Okay. I post the same story. It's a cell phone with gray, and I have on red, and I'm smiling. I look really pretty. And it has a box for you to drop your question inside of it, which I am pulling up right now. Here we go. This is what it looks like. Now see this? I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks just like this, and it has a little, I guess, question box at the bottom for you to drop whatever questions you have. You go ahead and you put it right in there. And then I answer said questions. So if I have time, I'll take additional questions on the live. If I have time, I can invite you onto the live for you to ask whatever questions that you have. But today I ain't got that time. So I don't usually go to the gym on Wednesdays. I went to the gym today, which set me back from picking up the baby, which then set me back from getting started on time. And now it's a little too much for me. Un momento, y'all. It's a little intense. Okay, I can live with that. Mind you, I clip this and I reuse it, and then it's going to bother me that my lips were shiny like that, looking like I was eating some chicken. All right, so let us get into the live Q&A. Oh, actually, let's pin some important information first, because we got to make sure that we know what's going on. Ready, set, love. Retreat. Stop laughing at me, Mo. Retreat. Costa Rica. That's not retreat. Instagram should really let us do this in advance, but I can't. I can only put the title in advance. Costa Rica, April 20th through the 24th. Link in bio. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I could have just asked y'all to help me out and do it, but I didn't think. Okay, here we go. All right, folks, so let us jump into Ask Alison, the weekly live Q&A, where you submit your burning questions in regards to dating and relationships. First question. Been together now for a year and 6 months. Feeling stuck in my relationship. What do you think I should do? We share different values. Been together now for a year and a half. Feeling stuck in my relationship. What do you think I should do? We share different values. Okay, so let's have this as a teaching moment, and then I'm going to answer your question. Folks, we have to assess whether or not someone is an appropriate match for us before we get into this committed relationship. Now, the good news is that you're not married, right? So breaking up from someone where a relationship isn't a good fit for you, it's not working for you, you realize later on you're an inappropriate match, it's not the end of the world. It just takes some words, right? If you live together, it's going to take you to find a new apartment, but for the most part, it just takes some words. So is it the end of the world? No, but it's in your best interest to assess these things early on. How do you assess if someone is an appropriate match for you? How do you assess if someone has the same values as you? Well, first you have to ask them a series of questions. So that goes back to my non-negotiables. You have to have a list of what your non-negotiables are. What are the things that your partner must seemingly have in order for you to continue to date them? What are the things that are an absolute must for you? What are your values? What are your life goals, right? What are your aspirations? How can a partner fit in that? Those need to be your non-negotiables. The non-negotiables is not if he takes me out on a high-end date, right? And I'm going to even say this in this moment. I don't even believe that any average woman, and I'm average, right? A reasonable woman has any of those ridiculous standards and expectations and stupid date stuff. But that's the topic of the day, so we got to talk about it. Nonetheless, we need to be more realistic about those minor things, those minute things that don't have an impact on us in the long term. And instead, we need to be focusing on whether or not this person matches our non-negotiables, the behaviors and traits. So you are going to come up with a series of questions for you to be able to assess if they have those things. And as soon as you realize that they do not have those things, they got to go. They got to go. And it's not that anything's wrong with them. It's not that anything's wrong with you. You're not an appropriate match for each other. So if one of your values, you value family, this person is a go-getter. They're trying to make money. They're trying to establish themselves financially. They want to live the rich life. That's great for somebody else. It's not a good fit for you. Does it make you better than them because you value family and they value material items? I guess that's arguable, but that's not what we're here for, right? So making sure that you are clear on what your own values are requires some introspection on your part, right? Like you need to be clear on what you desire, what you require, what are the things that are important to you, and then you come up with your series of questions to assess whether or not the person has it. Okay. Now, once we have done that, then that should save you from a lot of issues. But in this particular case, this person said they either didn't do it or they didn't do it thoroughly enough, or this person switched up on them, which is rare. That's usually an excuse that people say. To excuse away their own accountability. Okay? They switched up on me. They're drastically different. Rare. You ignored stuff. You didn't ask the right questions. Anywho, now that you realize that this person doesn't want what you want children, they don't want any. You don't want any, they want a ton. You believe in the institution of marriage, they do not. You believe in generational wealth and establishing a foundation for your children and your children's children, they say, nah, get it out the mud like I did. Whatever that looks like, religion, whatever that looks like, politics. Once you realize that someone has a different value, you, one, have to reconsider that value. Is it the end of the world? We have lots of values. There are plenty of things that we value, right? I just gave a list of 6. Some of those things might be flexible, i.e., let's go with, I'm a Christian, right? I'm a Christian woman. I believe in Christ, right? He might be a Christian. Maybe he doesn't attend church. Is that going to be a deal breaker for me? I have to decide on my scale of importance. Attending church, being an active member is at the end of the world. If he says he no longer believes in Christ, that might be the end of it all, right? Or it all depends on where we are on that scale. So to answer your question, you have different values. Should you let this thing go? You have to decide to what extent is this extremely problematic for you. If it is a deal breaker, and if it's the end of the world, if it's a non-negotiable for you, then you already have your answer and you know what to do. Move on, okay? Afrotech is next week. What's the playbook to navigate outside? Afrotech is next week. What's the playbook to navigate outside? Okay, so good. So number one, you know you need to go outside. That's a great start. A lot of people are full of it and they don't want to put out the effort. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to find an outfit. They don't want to find an event. They don't want to get dolled up. They don't want to be prepared, right? So you're already halfway there by being willing to attend the event. Excellent. Number two, you need to get your outside appearance together. And I know that sounds extremely shallow, but it is the truth. I cannot look at you and see your soul. I can't look at you and tell whether or not you would make a good husband or wife or parent. I can't tell. What I can tell immediately at looking at you is whether or not I find you attractive and whether or not you find me attractive. So that outward appearance does matter. Okay, now we're talking about just next week. There's only so much one can do. So in a week, you can get your hair done. You can get a haircut. You can get your eyebrows done. You can do your lashes. You can get a facial. You can get a wax. There are some things that you can do. You're probably not going to gain or lose 10 pounds in a week. So that ain't nothing we can do about that. But what we can do is dress for our physique. So if you're on my email list and all you have to do is click the link in my bio and download anything free or paid and you will automatically be on my list. I have sent out emails about how to dress for your body. If you're not on the list or you're not interested in being on the list because I email you 3 times a week and it's so overwhelming, then all you have to do is Google what looks good on and then whatever your shape is. If you don't know what your shape is, you Google different physique shapes, figure out what it is, and then find out what looks good on you. Figure out what color looks good on you. And you can literally try on the 5 different color shirts that you have and see what looks best. I look really good in orange. It's my undertones. I don't know what it is. Orange is like my color, right? Yellow looks really good on me too. You have to figure out what color looks good on you because presentation matters. It does. How you look matters on the dating scene initially, and then it's going to be personality and character and vibes and values that then can potentially sustain you. But you got to present well, right? So for my guys, you're getting the haircut, you're getting the shape up, you're going to wear something that looks good on your body and your physique. You're going to wear the colors that look good on you. For my ladies, your hair, your nails, your toes, your lashes, your brows, the facial, the wax, all the things that make you feel confident. And I always say this, the joke is that most times, and there are men on here, they can confirm that the guys can't really put a finger on what you've done for the most part if it's done well. If you have like a terrible wig, come on. If it's done well, they can't tell, right? Like, oh, she's pretty. Like, I don't know. Like, I think her lashes, they don't know. It's the confidence that you exude. It's the confidence that you exude when you feel good about yourself. That it's that thing that you can't articulate that will make the difference for you. It will make you more confident in your presentation and it'll help you to shine in a room. Okay, the gentlemen are coming in and saying the absolute right. They, it's the confidence. Okay, so that's step 2. So first, what is the playbook? You're going outside. You're going to Afrotech. Good. The second playbook is to present as the best version of you that you can in a week, right? You can't go to therapy. We're not going to lose 10 pounds. You're not going to get abs, but you're going to present the best version of yourself in a week. Number 3, you're going to get clear on those non-negotiables. What are you looking for? What are you looking for in a partner? And are you even looking for a partnership? Are you casually dating? Are you looking for friends with benefits? I already told you guys how I feel about that. I told y'all situationships are a mess, but if that's what you're looking for, who am I? You're grown, right? So figuring out what you want out of this partnership and then what are you looking for in a partner, coming up with your questions that you are going to ask to see if that person wants what you want, and then you are going to socialize. Here is a gem that I only drop for those who are in my coaching program that I'm going to bestow on all of you right now. You ready for this gem? When you are going out socially, it is not only about talking to the sex that you're interested in. So if you're heterosexual, you're talking to the opposite sex, homosexual, right? It's not about that. It's not only about that. It's about opening up your general circle. So that means that you should be talking to people of opposite sex. You should be talking to people of the same sex. You are socializing. You are increasing your general network. Right? Because what does this look like? It might not be that your husband is at that event. It may not be that your wife is at that event, but their sister could be, but their frat bro could be, but their mom could be the host or the owner of the venue. So it's not only, oh man, I went to this conference. Alison told me to go to this conference. Alison told me to go and I went and I didn't see nobody there. She made me waste my money. If you ain't talked to nobody, you sure did, but Alison didn't do it. You did. It's your responsibility to open up your network as well. So it's not about, I went to this event and I didn't get any numbers from any guys. I didn't get any numbers from any girls, so it was a waste. Did you socialize and network with other people so that you can grow your general circle? Because it could be your table mate's cousin's coworker that is your husband or your wife. Does that make sense? So network. Next question. Should women shoot their shot to men? Should women shoot their shot to men? Okay, so shooting your shot as a woman is something that you should be doing. However, it does not have to look the same way that it looks for men, right? So the gentlemen are saying that they want reciprocity. So we have to show that we're interested. And we've been socialized as women not to, right? We're coy. We're alluring. You really can't tell. No, right? We have to offer some reciprocity. And you might say, well, Alison, all the guys are asking for too much. Well, we said that we wanted emotional stability. We said that we wanted them to be more emotionally aware and open and honest and share. So now they're sharing and then it's a problem. We can't have it both ways. So the guys are saying that they want more reciprocity. The guys are saying that they want to know that a girl or a woman likes them. Okay? So shooting your shot as a woman doesn't mean, yo, handsome, you look mad good, let me get your number. It don't look like that for us, and it shouldn't look like that for us, right? But it could be walking up to a gentleman and introducing yourself and having a casual conversation. And then when that gentleman asks for your number or your Instagram, you give it with a smile. When he texts you or he calls you, you respond in a timely fashion. Like, that's what reciprocity looks like. It's not playing this game. right? We don't want to play games. We're too old for games. If you're on my page and you're like me, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, we're not playing games. You're being straight up. Now, it doesn't mean aggressive, because the gentlemen are also saying that they are not looking for a masculine woman. If they are a heterosexual masculine man, they want a feminine woman. So we're not being aggressive. We're not grabbing them by the balls like how a guy might touch a girl's butt, which is inappropriate either way. We're not doing all that. But at the same time, what we are going to do is make it clear that we are interested. So we could walk up to the gentleman. We can introduce ourselves to the gentleman. We can engage in conversation. Now, the question is going to be, well, Alison, what do I say? I don't know what to say to a guy. Like, how do I just walk up to him? What does one say? You are going to use the environment to engage in conversation. Let me bring this close so y'all can see me. You are going to use the environment to engage in conversation. So, Afrotech, I'm assuming that is a tech event for Black people. That's my assumption, right? So, if I am at this event, I would assume that I am involved in tech. I'm interested in tech. There's something techy about me, and I am Black. That's a given. So, I might walk up to a gentleman and say, hey, I saw you answer that question. I asked that question from a few minutes ago. That was really profound. What industry are you in? Which company did you say you work for again when you spoke? Whatever that looks like, you're using the environment. If I am at a PTA bake sale, right? And I was a single woman and I'm at the bake sale and I see a dad, I'm going to say, hey, are you the one who did those brownies? They were really good. I'm looking at him serving the brownies, right? Or, I don't know, they're looking really tempting. I might have to lay off those brownies that you made. They're really tasty. Something. I'm using the environment to engage in conversation. If it is someone that you are introducing yourself to that you're not romantically interested in, right? So again, we're talking about a heterosexual woman who maybe wanted to shoot her shot. Shooting your shot with a man, we discussed. Shooting your shot, meaning socializing with strangers for my introverts, right? It may be that you are going up to a woman, you give her a compliment. Wow, I love that scarf. Where did you get it from? Girl, you know that those shoes are, right? And you give a compliment, you use what they have on, you use something that they said on a panel to engage in conversation. You want to expand on your network. You want to expand on that network. So if that means that you are introducing yourself to gentlemen and engaging in conversation around whatever has us together in this same space. Oh, are you new to the neighborhood? I've never seen you in this restaurant before. Whatever that looks like, use the environment to engage in conversation. You are going to smile. You're going to be warm and welcoming. You're going to get off of your phone so that you are more approachable. Again, if you are like me, in your 30s and 40s, if you are a West Indian person, you know that we were taught to not interrupt our parents or any adult while they're on the phone. Don't you see me on the phone? So if you are on the phone, then you are giving the indication that you are too preoccupied to be spoken to. Take the headphones out of your ears if you want to be approached. I'm not talking about a scroll. I'm talking about on the phone. Get off the phone if you want to be approached. You have to put yourself in a position to be approachable. That means you are warm. You are smiling. You are welcoming. The chest is open. I'm not crossed. I don't got my attitude. I don't got my Brooklyn face on. Because who would want to approach that? I wouldn't. Okay? I see my good friend Chris, who has requested to join the live. I don't know if you're doing this by mistake or not, but I'm going to accept your request. Mistakenly do it. But I'm going to accept your request, Chris. See what you got to say. And then I got to put the baby down in 10 minutes. So let me know what's going on. Welcome, everyone who is just joining the live. My name is Alison, certified coach. And I have Chris, who has requested to join the live. Chris, what you got to say?
Oh, really? We had it scheduled and all that for us.
We did?
We did. It's all good. I recognize that we can reschedule. I can tell. Plus, I think the audio thing might happen. That when you started talking, when I came in, I heard what you were talking about last time, I think.
Ooh. Well, I'm not going to reschedule if our sound is good. So, folks in the comments, can you let me know if my sound is questionable? Instagram be hating on me. Sometimes when I bring folks on to the lives, questionable is not even the word. So, I know there's a bit of a delay. Just give folks like 10, 15 seconds. If the sound is off, we'll reschedule. If the sound is not off, we're going to do this thing.
We'll just
Up.
rock.
Nick in the city said it's good. Nick in the community said it's good. She said she can hear both of us.
Okay, cool.
All right, good, good, good. All right. Thank you, Erica.
They said it's good.
Everyone who's commenting. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Alison, certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with women to help them be found by the partners that they deserve. I have a bachelor's degree in education, master's degree in counseling, master's degree extension in mental health counseling. And Chris is going to be doing the interviewing this time. Last time I usurped him. I just started talking. We was vibing so well that I got thrown off course. So, Chris, I'm gonna hand the mic over to you. What's going on, brother?
Uh, Blessing and progression, I appreciate it. But really, I was just kind of listening to the live and everything I requested because I thought we was on for 6:30. But the questions you were asking this live was pretty lit, but I appreciate you answering nonetheless. So I'm just kind of curious in regards to from your experience and all the people that you deal with, in regards to men, what are some of the struggles that ladies are experiencing in regards to men not spending quality time in the home, and how is that actually affecting
Oh,
relationships?
absolutely. That's such a good question, Chris. So, what I'm finding with women who are in relationships, married, living in with their partner, is that there are lots of complaints about inequity in the division of labor. At first, it's usually not that big of a deal. Excuse me. It's usually not that big of a deal um, when it's just the husband and the wife, the man and the woman, the boyfriend and the girlfriend. We could kind of leave the house a little messy, no big deal. The dishes will get washed when they get washed. We do the laundry when we need to do the laundry. And in the beginning, it's also kind of cute, right? Like, oh, look at me fulfilling my wifely duties. When a baby is introduced to the equation, the amount of labor that is associated with raising a newborn, for caring for a newborn, is exponentially increased. And so that's what we talk about, quote unquote, red flags. I'm not crazy about that term, but for the sake of argument, we're going to use them. If this gentleman wasn't washing dishes before, I know you want to think that now he's a father, he will. He probably will not. If this gentleman didn't mind leaving socks and all kind of stuff all over the floor and didn't do the laundry in a timely fashion just because the kids are here, now there's more clothes, he probably will not. So we do have to be mindful of the behaviors that our partners are exhibiting before children, because I like to think like, oh, someone's going to step up and just magically become amazing. But if they've never had the practice or the accountability before, especially if they're going from their mother house to your house, then why would we imagine that they're magically going to change now? I know you would think, oh, well, it's a baby, so of course he's going to step up. Not necessarily if he doesn't have the practice or never had the expectation. So I would like to say, I don't have the statistics on this. I'm prefacing this. There was a lot of talk in the last 10 years about finances being the number one reason why people divorce or separated. I'm going to venture out and say that I don't think that's the case anymore. What I'm seeing instead is that the ladies are becoming so frustrated at doing what they deem as everything on their own. So they're financially contributing to the household at about 50%, a little more, a little less, but about 50. They're financially contributing. However, they have the labor of maintaining the home and raising the children. If that's the case, I do that shit by myself. That's the argument. And it's not an unreasonable one.
No, that's a good point. And even when me and my son's mom was together, to your point, as far as how like you got to give a person a little grace when a baby is involved, I took on all the responsibility of the finances because both of us was molested when we were around close people of our family members and everything. So I was like, all right, we're gonna avoid all that. I'll handle all the finances. You just look after CJ. And I didn't even, it was both of our first as kids. So I didn't really realize the everything that goes into maintaining just the kid. I'm just like, I'm handling all the finances, which was it was tough, but still was able to do it. But I'm just thinking like, okay, since I'm handling that, you can handle the kid. And yeah, it's definitely a lot that goes into it, and it took me a while to actually really realize it because she was just handling it and she wasn't complaining or anything like that. But once we actually separated and I started getting my son half of every week and it was just me and him, that's when I really started to just I could see where all her energy went to. So to your point, why her energy wasn't going to all those other things, it was because maintaining little CJ the Greats definitely took a lot of it. So I can understand that for sure.
So, Chris, just another point on this because I'm actually quietly very passionate about this topic. I stay away from marriage. I've only been married for 3 years, so I don't really touch on marriage too much. I've been in the dating space personally and professionally for long enough, so that's my zone of genius. But I think the part of the equation that a lot of fathers are missing, in home fathers are missing, either on purpose or not. I don't know. I like to think that guys are smart, so they know it, and I'm thinking that a lot of the dads just don't care. To be honest with you, is that if you look at it from a logical perspective, which the guys say that they're working 9 to 5, even if they are the breadwinners, which is not the case in many instances. If they're paying all the bills, you're working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7 to pay all those bills. But being a parent to a newborn is a 24/7 job. So there's no way
Facts.
that you could imagine that paying all the bills could be equivalent to being a stay-at-home parent, because that job for a newborn. Now, I'm not talking about a kid who's 5 years old, who's in school for 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours. They got after school till 6 o'clock. You put them down by 9, they sleeping through the night. But there are so many people that break up very early on after having a child because of the stress. And to think that your 55 hours a week is equivalent to, I don't even know, 24 hours times 7, it doesn't make any sense.
No, that's definitely a good point. And it's shit, it's a lot that goes into it. Plus, she was breastfeeding and everything like that, so that's a whole nother thing that goes into it with constantly having a pump and doing everything. So yeah, I can understand completely. And it's just I don't know if it's I truly don't think that men are considering it because I've never honestly, even though I get my son half of every week and I've been doing it every week, it's for a year since me and my son's mom has been separated. I've never thought about it in that way until you literally just said it that way. So I don't think that yeah, they're not trying to think about it, or we as men are not trying to think about it. I just think that how we're wired, we're just not thinking about it like that. Like I just think that we just naturally think that oh yeah, you just got it and everything, and it's we just don't even really consider it. And it's not like that, like I was never involved. Like anytime I was at home, I was, father duty and all that, changing, I'm doing everything that I got to do, but she definitely handled primary of that. And yeah, I just think that men just don't know because we're not really in that role really like that. Like my dad, my dad has never even changed my son's diaper. My dad is like, yeah, you can stay by yourself or you can wipe your ass by yourself. Like that's what you know what I'm saying. Like so he's not. I've never been around niggas that was even in tune with their kids like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people praise me for how locked in I am with my son, but people think that I'm doing the most sometimes with my kids. So I just think that we don't really got a lot of examples of fathers locking in like that with family and taking a more I guess, present role inside the home. We just think that, oh yeah, dad just, he works. So when he's at home, you just let him watch TV or you let him whatever his entertainment is. He gonna eat first. He gonna get the big piece of chicken. The stereotypes and shit. And I think we just go off of that. And I think that a lot of men was thinking that that's a feminine role to help out in the home. And now that things are kind of changing in this modern society, men are just trying to adapt. And we're struggling in that area a little bit, but I think some of us are still trying to keep
Yeah,
up.
I agree. Well said, Chris. Well said.
Uh, the next one. So I'm curious. So in regards to men, I know a lot of us struggle with managing our emotions and expressing our emotions. How, what type of issues from your experience with dealing with all the ladies, what type of issues is this kind of causing in the
Mhm.
home?
So, and I fault the ladies too. The women are asking for men to be more vulnerable, like on a grander scale in society. We're asking for more vulnerability, but many times, at least on social media, we're not providing a safe space to do so. So we're asking for them to share. We want to hear from them. What's your opinion? What are your thoughts? Don't just, oh, that's crazy, me away, right? Like, no, I want to hear what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And then we don't provide a safe space. So then why would someone be expressive to you? But because when they are, then we turn around and call them sassy. Now, I will say that it doesn't mean that there isn't a sassy behavior that does occur, but it can't be every time a guy responds. You can't even respond online. So the internet is only owned by women. A man can't even write a comment. If he responds to a comment, he's considered sassy or it's problematic or he's a bitch or pussy or whatever language, you know what I'm saying? The language that's associated with women, right? So you're calling them soft, like it's problematic. So then what we find is that the men are then going to recoil because if you don't provide a safe space for me to do something, I ain't gonna do it. So I think that the work needs to be done that we can't just say with our mouths as women in society that we want men to be more expressive and vulnerable, and then also not provide them a safe space to do so. Not to be disrespectful, but just for them to express themselves without judgment.
So, in what is like the best method in order? Because I know a lot of times, like the difficulty is, yeah, they get called sassy or some type of like negative stereotype, but it's also some of them fear what they say later on get weaponized against them,
Mm-hmm.
gets thrown in their face. So for whatever reason, if like I got a client or whatever, he's on some hard times financially or whatever, and so his woman had to take more of the financial responsibility. And so when he comes to her, like, I'm really not feeling good about myself because of this circumstance and all that stuff like that. She knows that that's a soft spot. Then she'll get mad and just like go right there as soon as it's. And so it then makes, like you said, recoil, and it makes it difficult to actually. So the biggest challenge that I see with a lot of men is they're afraid of when I do say it, it puts me in a position of weakness that whenever she is mad, and it's not saying she'll always throw it in her brother's face, but just when she does reach her limit, then it's coming out. And unfortunately for a man, a lot of times it damn near only got to get used against us one time,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately sometimes it don't even got to be with the woman we with. It could have been somebody that happened in the past, and then now we're just kind of closed off to this woman that's in front of us. But I do think that it's tied a lot to, like you said, the response in it. Although I don't really see a lot of sassiness when it comes to like intimate relationships. Like, that's wild if your girl call you sassy. That's damn near.
Yeah, they're not usually doing that to nobody's face. I mean, that means that you're already, if you're insulting each other, then that means that you're gonna probably be in an unhealthy, potentially abusive relationship. Ain't nobody doing that. I'm just talking about like online, and
Oh yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah, yeah.
online is becomes the reality, right? Because folks are seeing what goes on online, and then their assumption is that's what's happening in reality. I'm telling you, I have a platform of tens of thousands of women. That list that's been circulating about what dates are appropriate or inappropriate is absolute bullish. Like
Facts.
it there might be one or two like on the list. I think is going to somebody's house. Absolutely not. You're a stranger. I'm not. I have to keep myself safe. But the Cheesecake Factory, we going to the Cheesecake Factory.
I even
So a
seen
lot of
IHOP. I'm like, IHOP as a first date, that's a little Denny's. That's, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that's sketchy too. But I feel you. Cheesecake Factory, I was blown away. Like,
there are so many things on that list that are acceptable. And also, you have to think about age and things like that. So unfortunately, when we see something that trends online, we then believe that that is the reality and the belief system of most people. And that is simply not the case. And I wish that we would click, I wish people would click and read the comments, because I don't know about, at least on my timeline with my algorithm, with the people I choose to follow and engage with, and maybe you following the wrong people and that's your business. Every single woman that I have read these comments from are saying that, oh no, I would accept plenty of the things that's on this list. This is an outrageous list. Who made this list? I would never follow it, right? And of course, there are going to be some outliers, but relatively speaking, that's what's being said. So unfortunately,
facts.
out online is driving like the belief system, and we're falling for it.
Facts. And I think the sources, like I always tell everybody, it's like different. So with guys, so talking to ladies right now, with guys, you got to understand that it's different types of niggas. You got the ones that's just trying to have fun and just sex and all that. Then you got the ones that's like really trying to be serious and trying to look for a family. The issue is that people be listening to both of them, and I'm like, this nigga's over here is just really pandering, just trying to say anything because he's just trying to have sex. He's not. You ask this nigga if he's interested in a family. Oh no. You ask him, is he in a relationship or is he being seeking a relationship? It's but he's just saying all this stuff really just. But these people over here, that's why I tell even ladies, it's like we need y'all to have louder voices, especially the ones that's like on the side that you're referring to. It's just because the ratchet ones are really having the loudest voices. The girl that don't want to get out for the cheesecake is having the loudest voices. The one that's, I don't need a man, and you know what I'm saying? Now we know need, but not
Mm,
semantics or whatever, but I can just be single forever and all that stuff like that. It's like these are the ones that got the loudest voices. Same thing when it comes to the man, like the fresh and fit niggas that's making it seem like women just gotta just shut up and just not do. It's like, come on, bro. That's you're not about to have no family with that fucking mindset. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like even just the whole, now we talked last time about like why every 15 minutes a guy can get fertile again as opposed to a woman that takes 9 months and everything. So I'm just bringing up just how that's God made us. But even I believe that it's like, nigga, if you're trying to have a long-term family, like, nigga, you can't just be out here having multiple women and everything, but it's again the loudest voices for the men and the women. So that's not even a woman problem. It's just I think on both sides we just got to be louder for the good people, because otherwise just the darkness is winning right now, and that's what's going viral. That's what's trending because that's what's getting the likes. That's what's getting shared. That's what's going on the reaction videos and all that stuff like that. But then when motherfuckers been together 30 years and they passionate still in 30 years, niggas, you know what I'm saying, they go on a podcast and get 100 views. So I just think we gotta, like you said, choose to tune into something else as opposed to the negativity that we've been kind of consuming.
Yeah, absolutely well said. I will tell you this, I'm glad that you said it at the end, because we, men and women, the ones who are serious, the ones who have standards that are reasonable, the ones who are looking to build the community, build the Black community family, we are not loud enough. And a part of the reason why is because of the algorithm, because of society, because of whatever, but we're not loud enough. I saw a reel made by Black Marriage Club, and it was a reel that said that the people who are happy in their marriages are too busy to be online to make reels about how happy they are in their marriage. The people who
That's
are
a good point.
miserable are the ones who are online, who are going to make all the content and the podcasts and the reels and the this and the that and these imaginary lists that most people don't follow. So unfortunately, if we're in the space because this is what we do professionally. But if we weren't in the space and we're just in our happy, healthy relationships, I doubt that we would just be creating content 3 times a day to
That's
talk
a good
about how
point.
good things are, right?
That's a
And
good point.
so it's our responsibility as those who are in the space. And I would ask, I beg for anyone who is happy in their relationship to speak up, even if it's just one comment underneath the shade room, even if it's one comment underneath the Breakfast Club, to say like, nah, there's plenty of happy, committed, healthy relationships where guys have a safe space, where the women feel supported in the home. It exists, but those folks too busy being happy. What's the expression? Hating hoes ain't happy and happy hoes ain't hating.
I love that. I don't think I've ever heard that, but I love that. And I even personally, I got to do a better job of responding to those posts and those trending reels and all that stuff like that. But and I can understand why we're probably not as loud. It's just because we're not just trying to argue. We're not trying to, because man, I mean, you know, you've had viral posts. You've had much more viral posts than I have, and you know, just all different types of minds come out of